Hi guys, this is Skithicon here, and we are back for episode 5 of Let's Play Saya no Uta. Last episode, we just saw the first possible ending in the game, in which Saya restores Fuminori to normal, and as a consequence, he ends up losing her, and the experiences he'd gone through just end up with him locked up in an asylum. It was a very heart-wrenching ending, very good. We got to see that despite Saya being inhuman and Fuminori being rather twisted by this point, they really do love each other, so it's very cute, very good. So now let's load up to that decision point, and we'll see what happens if Fuminori fully abandons his old life and stays with Saya and his new world. Here's that decision point. Last time we said we want it all back, but now we don't need it anymore. On that terrifying day when I first opened my eyes after the accident, what would my answer have been? When I think back on this day many years from now, will I wish that my answer had been different? It doesn't matter here, at this moment. There is no doubt in my mind. Who was that? I asked Saya, looking at the unidentifiable pieces of the monster. A man living next door. I don't know his name, though. Oh, so it was Suzumi-san. He wasn't a stranger, of course. I'd spoken with him any number of times, and had even been friendly with him before the accident. And now I've killed him with my own two hands. I feel little. Suzumi-san, the kindly painter who lived next door, is but a distant memory. The pieces of meat around me, on the other hand, belong to a loathsome creature whose existence was nauseating. Only by killing the vermin could I find relief. He complained about my yard being filthy or something, didn't he? The swine. It doesn't matter what Saya did. He wasn't worth keeping alive anyway. Good riddance. These are my honest feelings. Even with the man's blood covering my hands, I'm completely calm. Now I know what I lost in the accident. Saya says I can take it back, but I know that I cannot. It is gone forever, like the life of the man called Suzumi. Hey Saya, no doctor could possibly fix my condition, you know. Fuminori? You can do easily what no human is capable of. You're not human, are you? Saya looks away, her expression unreadable. Everything appears warped to my eyes. Only Saya looks normal. I thought that she was somehow unique. However, I was wrong. I see her just as I do everything else, as something completely different than what she really is. Saya is who she is because of who I am, just like I said a few minutes ago. It's nothing to be surprised about. The reference to the few minutes ago was when they had the conversation about how Fuminori doesn't only love her because of the accident, but because of everything they'd been through together. But that aside, let's go on. I stand and walk over to Suzumi's dismembered corpse. I read this manga a long time ago. It was about a man who recovered from an accident, only to find that he could no longer see the world as it was. Kind of like me. I finally realized that even though the stench of these monsters' flesh turns my stomach, their blood and guts smell pretty good. In fact, I know this fragrance quite well. He saw people as rocks, and robots as beautiful women. And so, he fell in love with a robot that wasn't even remotely human. I'm curious if that's actually a real manga. I'd read it if so. Someone point me towards it. I retrieve the cleaver, pick up one of the pieces of Suzumi's body, and start removing the skin and tendons. Just as I thought. The stuff underneath looks exactly the same as what Saya and I have been eating. Hey, this looks pretty good. Why don't we eat it? Fuminori? Oh, sorry. You're in no mood for that now, are you? Now that it's dead, though, meat is meat. It'd be a waste to throw it away, wouldn't it? Let's get it in the fridge. Is that alright with you? Sure, I answer easily. There is no longer any room for doubt in my mind after all. Now Fuminori is rather far gone too, so that's great. Also, his wife and daughter are probably next door. They might cause trouble when he doesn't come home. I think we'd better hunt them down before they go to the police. Is that really what you want? Saya asks again, this time with a trace of fear in her voice. I guess I still haven't convinced her of my sincerity. So, at the end of this manga, the man who fell for something inhuman gave up his own humanity for the sake of their love. A happy ending, don't you think? As long as we're together, I don't need anything else. Everything is fine, the way it is. Tossing the knife and meat aside, I pull Saya into my arms once more. I can say it now, can't I? Saya, I love you. As Saya tries to wipe away the tears that keep flowing from her eyes, I can no longer see any hint of fear in her face. I don't want you to regret this. I don't, but I've sworn my oath, and Saya has accepted it. We have nothing to be afraid of now. Saya will never need to cry again. Even so, I'm happy. I guess I'm pretty selfish, aren't I? I don't mind. I'll always indulge your selfishness, Saya. Filled with contentment, we exchange a smile and set to the task of cleaning the room. A single person produces a lot more meat than I expected. Speaking of which, I seem to remember doing something similar before. About the other two, I think he killed them. I heard their screams. Well, that makes things easier. After we finish here, we should go gather the meat from the Suzumi house. That should be enough to hold us for a while. But can we pack it all into the refrigerator? Of course, we can just use the refrigerator next door. I really liked the dynamics of that past scene, how we saw Saya getting freaked out at Fuminori's losing of humanity, his complete devaluation of the life of Suzumi's family, but she just gets back on track as soon as they get the love vows exchange. So cute. Anyway, looks like now they're talking about the photos that Fuminori brought back from Ogai's house. Let's see what's up. This picture, I recognize it. After we finish our labors and get into bed, I show Saya what I found in the Ogai house. This one looks familiar. Yeah, I've definitely been there. The photograph that Saya has selected from the three is the one with the Tochigi Prefecture address written on the back. This is
それと
a house, right?
山
I see trees and mountains.
そう。
Yeah.
文則すごいね。
Wow, Fuminori, you can
写
see
真も見
pictures
られる
now.
ようになった？
That is a very cute development.
まあね
A little. At the outset of my ordeal, I had to depend entirely on my sense of distance to decipher what I saw. The houses in front of me, the mountains far behind them, the clouds high above. Only distance and scale told me what they were. Man, good thing he didn't lose an eye in the accident then. No depth perception would make that rough. Photographs and other flat images used to be completely incomprehensible to me. Recently, however, I've gotten better at understanding what things are by their shape. I know what the mountains and sky look like, for example, and how they are different from buildings. Each of the 3 pictures shows a similar scene, a lone house in the middle of a forest. They must be vacation retreats or something.
パパはね、別荘だって言って
Dad
た。
called it his cabin.
ここにいれ
He
ば
said that no
誰
one
にも
would
見
find
つ
us
からないっ
there.
て。
If the addresses on the back of the photos belong to each building, then they probably are excellent places to stay hidden from prying eyes. But why 3? The dates are pretty old, and it seems odd that they were all taken within a few days of each other. Maybe he was taking photos of houses he was buying in order to determine which would be the best candidate for his hideaway. And Saya only recognizes one of the houses, so Ogai decided on the house in Tochigi Prefecture, S-Town. Checking the location on the road map of the Kanto area, I find that it's roughly 3 hours out of Tokyo by car.
お父さんがここにいる可能性は
Do you think your father will be there?
電話してみたけど出なかったよ。
I tried calling him, but he didn't answer. I don't think he's there.
でも最近に立ち寄ったことはあるかもしれないよね
But he might have stopped by recently. The way I see it, the only way out of this deadlock is to take whatever chance we have, no matter how small. The probability of there being a clue to Professor Ogai's whereabouts in his villa is very low, but it's not 0.
明日にでも行ってみようかなここ
I think I'll check this place out tomorrow.
えー、
Saya pouts. I wasn't expecting Saya to object,
でもここ
but
遠いんでしょ？
isn't it far away?
行って調べて帰ってきても
It'll
まあ
only take about half a day to go there, check it out, and come back.
その間、さやはお留守番なの？
I have to stay home by myself while you're gone? So that's what it is. Slightly exasperated, I smile and rub Saya's head.
少しは我慢してくれ
Be a
よ
little patient, okay?
な
You want to find your father too,
お父
don't
さんの
you?
こと見つけたいんだろ
うん。
After a brief silence, during which her expression is hard to decipher, Saya timidly looks up at me and says,
ねえ、文則、
Hey, Fuminori,
パパのことは
let's forget about Dad.
もういいよ。
I'm completely blindsided by this.
いいってでも
Forget
君の
about
お父
him,
さんだろ
but he's your
心配じゃない
father,
の
right?
か
Aren't you worried about him?
いいの。私には
Not anymore,
もう
Saya
文
says,
則がいるし、
coming closer to feel my warmth. I have you now.
パパって言っても本
I
当
call
の意
him
味での
Dad,
お父さ
but
んってい
he's
う
not
わ
really
けじ
my
ゃない
father.
の。さやのことを教育してくれたし、ある意
He
味で
taught me a
は
lot
愛して
and
くれてたのか
probably
もし
loved
れ
me
ない
in
け
his
ど、
own way, but
でも
you're kinder and
文則の
warmer.
方が優しくて。
Saya's words make me happy, but I also feel the loneliness in them.
本当に僕だけでもいいのか
Are you really alright with just me?
文
Yeah.
則は
You
嫌。
don't like it just being the two of us?
さやと二人っきりじゃ。
いや
I
で
do,
も
but I also want to meet
そうだ
Professor Ogai.
やっぱり大貝教授には会って
Having finally figured out how to explain my feelings, I continue.
さやのこともっとよく知
I
り
want
た
to
いか
get to know you better, Saya.
僕以外にさやの
If
ことを
there's
知っ
someone
てる
who
人がい
knows
るな
more
ら
about you than
ぜ
me,
ひ会ってみ
I
たい
have to meet them. I
そう
see.
なんだ。
Saya doesn't seem angry, but she does tilt her head quizzically, as though my thoughts are strange to her.
それに
And I also want to...
やっぱり明日
Yeah, I'm going to
この場所に
check it
行
out
ってみよう。
tomorrow. I'm pretty sure he's thinking of his earlier motivation of checking with her father that it's cool to be doing all the things they're doing. That's funny to me that he's still got that little part of his moral code left with everything that's happened. Another plan has started to form in my mind, one separate from the search for Professor Ogai. If I find the professor there, great. If I don't, well, I think I can find another use for his mountain retreat. I know you'll be lonely, Saya, but try to bear it for a little while. Okay, she nods, then looks questioningly into my eyes.
やっぱり文則にはさ、
Fuminori,
家族
you really
と
want
か
family and
友達と
friends,
か
more people you can spend
も
time
っ
with,
ともっと
don't
大勢
you?
いた方が
そりゃその方が
Well,
楽しいだろうね
that would be more fun, yeah. Fearing that Saya will start sulking, I hurriedly add,
でも勘違いしないでくれよ
but don't get me wrong.
たとえ
Even
そうい
if
う
I
人
could
たちに
have lots
囲ま
of
れて
friends
暮
and
らしてたと
family,
しても
you'll always be
さや
special
だけ
to
は
me.
僕にとって特別な一人なんだからね
I know. Thanks.
ありがとう
Giggling, Saya rubs her cheek against mine.
さやも文則が喜びそうな
I'll
こと
find something to make you happy.
文則のためだけに
Something just for you.
頑張るからね
They're so sweet. Today, all of Koji's classes were in the morning. On his way to meet Yo for lunch after his final lecture, Koji suddenly gets a phone call in the middle of the hallway. Without thinking, he reaches to his belt for his new camera phone, but curses when he realizes that the ringtone is coming from the old phone in his bag. He bought a camera phone to see what all the rage was about, but he couldn't bring himself to discard his simple, much easier to use old phone, so he ended up walking around with both. He hasn't transferred his contacts list yet, and calls still come to his old phone from people who don't know the new number. I used to have an old Nokia brick phone, and that thing was the greatest. Survived water damage 5 times before one of the keys stopped working, so, Koji, I understand. Those old phones, they're great. When he finally fishes the phone from his bag, the name he sees on the display sends a chill up his spine. Fuminori. Why now? What does he want? It's hard for Koji to be happy about a call from Fuminori now, long after he gave up on such a thing ever being possible.
Hi.
Yes?
いやコージ
Hey Koji, you're done with class for today, right?
Ah,
Yeah. Of course Fuminori would know that Koji always has a lot of free time on Thursday afternoons.
相談がある駐車場に
I have something to talk to you about. Can you come to the parking lot?
今すぐにか。
Now?
あ
Yeah,
待って
I'll be waiting. Fuminori hangs up without another word. What's gotten into him? What does he want? Koji wonders as he sticks the phone into his jacket pocket. This sudden change is disturbing after a week of Fuminori clearly trying to avoid both Koji and Yo. Maybe he's finally ready to talk, in which case Koji should probably consider this a good thing. However, he can't shake his unease completely.
待たせたか。
Did I keep you waiting?
いいや
Nah. In the parking lot, Koji finds Fuminori leaning against the fender of Koji's Accord. This is the first time he's seen Fuminori since the night at the mysterious abandoned house. It's been a long time since they've spoken face to face in the light. Perhaps that's why Koji senses something strange in Fuminori's expression. He's not sure what, exactly, but something has definitely changed.
前にも
He
話
looks
したと思う
happy.
が僕は
Check
今
out that smile.
オー
Check
ガン
out
という
that
人についていろいろと調べ
lovely,
なきゃな
sweet
らない
smile. And those shadowy dead eyes. Beautiful. I think I told you before that I'm currently looking for information on a man named Ogai.
そうらしいな。
So I've heard.
それがな
Well, it's
こ
starting
こ
to
に来
get
てい
more
ろいろと
complicated.
難しくなってきたん
It
だ
looks like I can't handle it by myself
buddy.
after all. Fuminori seems more relaxed than before. He used to be tense all the time, like he was terrified of something, but now his expression is calm and he's even wearing what resembles a sheepish grin.
でお前にも手
So,
伝って
I
ほし
need
いん
your
だ
help, Koji.
コージ
Nevertheless, some instinct is telling Koji that Fuminori's changes are not at all for the better.
一体どういう風の吹き回しだ？
Why the sudden change of heart? Koji asks, keeping his expression neutral to conceal his suspicion.
だってお前も
You're
関心ある
involved too, aren't you?
コージ
Fuminori responds coolly. His smile, unreadable as ever, offers no glimpse of his true motives.
お前も僕の後から
You searched
オーガイ
Professor
教
Ogai's
授の
house
家をいろい
after
ろ
me,
と探し
didn't
回って
you?
たじゃないか。僕とお前とで
It's a waste
バ
of
ラバラ
time
に
for us
探
to
す
look
なん
for
て
him
二度手間だよ
separately. It'll be more
どうしたら
efficient if we team up.
協力してもっと効率的にやろう。
Why? Why does there seem to be malice, thick and viscous, lurking behind Fuminori's smile?
ともかく今日は足が
Anyway,
必要なん
I
だ。
need your car today. Mind
車を
driving?
出してくれないか。
まあ、構わ
Well,
ん
no. Fuminori's car was destroyed in the accident, so Koji isn't surprised that he'd need a lift. Koji unlocks his Accord and gestures for Fuminori to take the passenger seat, then gets behind the wheel and starts the engine.
で、
Well,
どこに行くんだ？
where are we going?
栃木の北の方。
North
那須高原
Tochigi,
の近所
near
だ
the。Nasu Heights.
栃木？
Tochigi. He's shocked. Even Koji can't conceal his surprise at this.
住所はこれだ。この建物を探
Here's
し
the
て
address, Fuminori says, handing Koji a photo with an address on the back. I want you to find this building. Rather than be angry at Fuminori, Koji is simply amazed that he seriously expects to be driven over 100 kilometers.
今から出発すれば夕
If
方
we
頃
leave
には
now,
着く
we
だろ
should get there by evening, right?
まあ、そうか
Yeah,
もしれんな。
maybe. Koji sighs heavily, tapping the steering wheel as he calms himself down. Now that he's come this far, the only thing he can do is see his friend's craziness through to the end.
別荘か何かかこれは。
Is this a vacation home or something?
多分そこに
Probably.
大貝教授もいるらしい。
Professor Ogai should be there. Koji isn't looking forward to meeting the owner of that strange house, but he's even more uneasy about letting Fuminori go alone. It looks like he just has to grin and bear it.
東京に戻るのは
We
夜
might
中か
not get
な。
back until night.
悪いな。
Sorry for the
世話を
trouble.
かけて。
いいさ。
Don't mention it. Come on, Fuminori, offer to pay for gas at least. Koji drives out of the parking lot, leaving the rest of what he'd planned to say unspoken. Fuminori's smile seems somehow wrong, like an emotionless mask glued to his face. Yo finds herself sitting alone in the cafeteria, searching for a familiar face as her lunch cools on the table in front of her. It's not as though she and Koji planned to meet, and it wouldn't be at all unusual for him to have another engagement. When he hadn't been able to show up in the past, Omi and Fuminori would pick up the slack. But neither Omi nor Fuminori is here anymore. Aw, she's lonely too now. Yo puts down her chopsticks, her appetite ruined by the lack of company, and even more so by the anxiety eating away at her. She knows that Omi's absence isn't because of some illness or unavoidable business. She doesn't know why Fuminori suddenly turned against her. If Koji were here, she could count on him to distract her from all worries with some idle conversation. Now that she's all by herself, Yo becomes keenly aware of how little tolerance she has for loneliness. She begins to feel paranoid, like the world itself is plotting to steal everything from her. What exactly is going on here? Where has Omi gone? Is Fuminori really uninvolved? Or is he the key to this mystery, like Koji and Dr. Tanbo suspect? Yo will never forget what happened last Thursday. Alone and without an outlet for her pain after Fuminori verbally eviscerated her, Yo had been lucky enough to catch sight of Koji. Concerned, he had listened to her, and although he could hardly make her problem go away, his kindness had comforted her. At the same time, Omi had been on her way to Fuminori's house, and she hadn't been heard from since. Yo has only been aware of Fuminori's connection to Omi's disappearance since yesterday, when the truth had been revealed during their visit to the T University Hospital. What if... Yo considers a new possibility, trying to find the answer to the question. Why did Omi suddenly decide to go to Fuminori's house? What if it hadn't been a coincidence that Yo had run into Koji that day? What if Koji and Omi both knew what had happened between her and Fuminori and had tried to act separately? Omi might have seen the confrontation in the courtyard. She might have been eavesdropping. It's not unthinkable. As the idea forms in her mind, Yo feels as though something is tearing apart her body from the inside. It's only a possibility, but if it's true, then whatever happened to Omi is Yo's responsibility too, isn't it? Don't blame yourself. That's... No, stop that. Yo clutches her head, groaning in agony. The food she brought out on her tray is now cold, not that she would have eaten it anyway. Despite the frustration and anxiety tormenting her, Yo is unable to act on her own. She's never been very flexible, nor is she known for her sharp intuition. She hadn't the slightest idea how to respond to this situation. If Omi were here, she would probably tell Yo to think positive and trust her instincts. Yo has always depended on her best friend's energy. Now that Omi is gone, Yo realizes just how weak and useless she is. Powerless to stop herself, she can only sink deeper and deeper into a vicious cycle of self-loathing. You need some alcoholism, Yo. But, you know, not really, don't actually do that. The sudden sound of her phone ringing is what pulls her back from the brink of despair. It's a text message. There's no title, and the sender is...
Omi!
Omi-chan! Yo cries out in shock. She's so startled. The message itself, however, is even more baffling. Do you want to know about Sakisaka Fuminori? If so, come to his house alone. Tell no one. That's, always a good type of message to get. I like how the brand on the phone is Nitro Plus, the publisher for this game. That's, very cute. The message bears no trace of Omi's personality, but Yo can't deny that it was sent from Omi's phone. She takes a deep breath to calm herself before typing her reply, taking care that excitement doesn't cause her fingers to slip. Is that you, Omi-chan? Where are you? Yo presses send. The screen shows that her message was received successfully. As she waits for a reply, her mind fills with questions. Is someone else using Omi's phone to send text messages? If so, why to her? Something suddenly occurs to her. She and Omi have exchanged countless messages, many of which contain the sort of embarrassing confessions that close female friends share. At times when her hidden feelings for Fuminori grew too strong to contain, Yo often put them into words for Omi to read. Did Omi put a password on her phone? Even if she had, the person who sent the message was obviously able to unlock it, which means that whoever it is has full access to the messages that she and Omi have sent to each other. Do you want to know about Sakisaka Fuminori? Yo reads the strange message one more time. Whoever sent it must believe that Yo has an interest in Fuminori. The phone suddenly rings again, startling Yo, but she quickly recovers and looks at the screen. There's no title, and the sender is still Takahata Omi. I'll tell you everything when we meet. Come alone. Tell no one. It's not Omi. She would never try to scare Yo with such a mean-spirited prank. Anxiety has brought Yo almost to tears. Her mind isn't made to deal with such an incomprehensible situation. Who is using Omi's phone and promising to reveal Fuminori's secrets? Who is it? Yo is helpless on her own. She desperately wants advice from Koji, from anyone. She even starts to dial Koji's cell, but a sudden suspicion stops her. The sender might be somewhere nearby, watching her at this very moment. A cold chill runs down her spine as she looks furtively around the cafeteria. Come alone. Tell no one. Yeah, that is, a bit intimidating. Have you guys, figured out who sent the messages yet? I figure you probably have. lifeless characters on the screen are like a knife against her throat. However, Yo clutches her phone and forces her heart to stop pounding. Isn't this cowardice exactly what she was just cursing herself so mercilessly for? Doesn't she want to know what she's capable of? Doesn't she want to do more than just sit and wait? Yo realizes that her hand holding the phone is shaking. How easy would it be to just give in to her cowardice to convince herself that everything, even Omi and Fuminori, is beyond her reach? That is what she truly wants, even if it means abandoning all sense of dignity or loyalty. She wants to flee from the unknowable. However, she also knows that even escape is beyond her. Yo understands herself well. She knows that no matter how far she runs, regret and self-loathing will consume her after everything has fallen to pieces. Yep, looks like pride is her flaw. That's very relatable. In the end, Yo is unable to overcome her cowardice alone. She lacks both the willpower and the courage to run. The silence of the afternoon neighborhood seems somehow forbidding. A stink is in the air, as though someone's garbage has been left out for a long time. Even this perfectly normal residential area appears ominous to Yo in her current state. She feels like she's standing in the middle of a ghost town, where everyone in the surrounding houses has died. Wonder why she'd feel that? Yo pushes her fear aside and presses the buzzer on the Sakisaka house's front gate. She didn't see Fuminori in class today. Is he at home? He couldn't be the one who sent those awful messages, could he? She doesn't want to even consider the possibility, so she forces the unwelcome thought from her mind. There's no response from the intercom. Yo doesn't know, of course, that Omi stood in the same place 1 week ago, staring at the silent intercom with the same confusion that Yo is experiencing now. Yo, however, is not forced to wait as Omi was. The phone in her pocket suddenly rings, catching her completely off guard. It's another untitled text message from Omi's phone. Come in. The door is open. Yo looks around quickly, a shiver running through her as she realizes that she's being watched. Searching fearfully for her observer, Yo spots movement out of the corner of her eye. On the second floor of the Sakisaka house, a tightly drawn window curtain just fluttered slightly. The watcher, the person who has been sending the messages, is inside the house. Only now does Yo realize that every other window has its storm shutters completely closed. No matter what happens inside, no one will ever know. This time, she's nearly overwhelmed by the intense urge to run away and never look back. However, the terror she feels towards the invisible eye staring at her is many times more powerful. She has nowhere to run. Yo bursts into tears, unable to take one step forward or back. The phone rings again in her hand, as though demanding that she enter the house at once. She steps through the gate, her legs so shaky that they hardly seem connected to her. When she enters the house, an undeniable stench assaults her nostrils. The house is dark, even though it is the middle of the day. Fuminori must be out, as his shoes are not in the vestibule. However, Yo catches sight of a different pair of shoes stuffed behind the shoe cupboard. They look familiar, so she pulls them out of the shadows for a closer look. As soon as she recognizes them, her mind tries desperately to find a way to deny reality. They are definitely the same as Omi's favorite shoes. Yo has seen her wearing them any number of times. However, that doesn't mean that Omi is here in the house. They might belong to someone entirely different, someone who bought the same shoes from the same store. There's no way Omi could be here. In a sudden flash of insight, Yo presses the most frequently used speed dial button on the phone, still in her tightly clenched fist. The phone dials Omi's number. It only takes half a second for the signal to reach the nearest relay station, and then a familiar melody echoes through the house, the unmistakable sound of Omi's phone. It's coming from the second floor. Someone must still be up there in the room with the moving curtains. See, this is exactly why I keep my phone on silent all the time and always have 15 unlistened to voicemails at any time, just for this situation. Omi's phone only rings for a few moments, and then it stops, as whoever is holding it realizes Yo's intentions. For the first time, Yo feels the definite presence of her formless guide.
誰ですか?
Who's there? She gathers her courage and calls out into the house, but there is no response. Whoever it is must not want to be seen. Swallowing hard, Yo walks down the hallway to the staircase. Maybe it's Omi. Maybe it's Fuminori. Surely it's just the two of them playing a prank on her. Koji might even be here with them. Yo's mind fills with comforting images. Whether or not they are possible, she wants to believe in them. Otherwise, she would not be able to take another step.
オミちゃんだよね。
Omi,
坂くんだ
is
よね。
that you? Sakisaka, are you there? She's, feeling pretty spooked. As she climbs the stairs one at a time, Yo calls out in a voice choked with tears. When they see her sobbing, they'll probably laugh and make fun of her. Let them, it would be the happiest moment of her life. She just wants this torment to end as quickly as possible. She tries to move faster, but her trembling legs force her to move at an agonizingly slow pace, dragging the crushing silence out even longer. With each second, she begs for release from this nightmare. After enduring what seems like an eternity of stillness, Yo finds herself standing in the second-floor hallway. No sound greets her. There's only the gloom, brimming with silent malice.
オミちゃん。オミちゃん。
She shuffles forward, calling out in a weak voice.
出てきてよ。
Come out already, please. I can't take this anymore.
もうやだよ。
The door in front of her is half open. It probably leads to the room that overlooks the front gate. Yo watches helplessly from a corner of her mind as her body, seeming to move of its own volition, slowly opens the door. The room is empty. The damp, stinking air clings to Yo's skin. Please, stop this. She's at her limit, unable to take a single step more. Her spirit has been completely crushed. Perhaps her tormentor was waiting for this very moment. Surprise! Something grabs Yo's arms from behind. Something flexible and strong, with slime-covered rubber. As the thing binds her limbs, finger-like appendages roughly tear through her blouse and force their way inside. Yo screams at the top of her lungs, amazed that she still has the strength to do so. Responding to her distress, primal energy surges through her body as she flails wildly, trying to free herself. However, the grip of the thing behind her remains unbreakable. With escape impossible, Yo can only scream even louder as something wet and cold slips under her bra and wraps itself around her breasts. She sounds scared. Yo is helpless to resist as the invader mercilessly squeezes her breast and sucks at her nipples, which have gone stiff with fear under the horrifying onslaught. Her ears are filled with the sound of something slimy sliding over her skin and between her breasts. Oh dear. That's, alarming. As the loathsome assault on her breasts continues, the unimaginable terror threatens to drive Yo utterly mad. Her throat is already raw from screaming, and now she can't even breathe as she struggles desperately against her attacker. Suddenly, the thing releases its grip on her breasts and pulls out from under her bra. That's, Japan needs to learn more words, other than just using breasts once every sentence. It's, Whatever, let's go on. Yo falls to the floor, unable to support herself on her unresponsive legs. Having used up all the strength that her body had held in reserve, she now feels like a marionette with its strings cut. The creature that just grabbed her from behind is still here, lurking in a dark corner of the room. Yo can feel it watching her, but she can't bring herself to turn around. She knows full well that seeing it will likely destroy the last vestiges of her sanity. From close by comes the muffled tapping of buttons being pressed. Yo hears a cheerful electronic sound terribly out of place in this room, and sees the phone in her hand blink coldly. A new text message has arrived. She's powerless to stop herself from reading the characters on the screen. You're pretty, and your breasts are so soft and big. Your body must be quite useful for tempting males. Now she has her answer. The messages from Omi's phone were sent by the thing that just mauled Yo's breasts. Yo curls up in a tiny sobbing ball, unable to raise her voice or even move. That's, very, very deer in the headlights right there. God, please save me. The creature hiding in the darkness makes a burbling sound. Yo somehow understands that it's laughing contemptuously at her. That must be how you tried to tempt Fuminori. You tried to steal him from me, didn't you, you thief? That's cute. Saya's so possessive. And so needy. It's great. Very... yeah, she's cool. Something cold seizes Yo's ankles, then travels slowly up her legs until it has covered her entire lower body. Some primal female instinct tells her exactly what will happen to her now. She'll be raped, powerless to resist a fate worse than death. Well, looks like Saya secretly has a dick too, so you know if you're the kind of guy into that, she's even better. That's great. Stop, she pleads feebly, as though she knows, even though she knows that there is no hope that a human creature will be merciful. Please, not that. She hears its bubbling laughter again. The thing is enjoying her sorrow, her despair. Yo no longer has the strength to push away the monster on top of her. She's only able to shiver in revulsion as the cold, slimy thing covers her body. Her sight grows dim as her consciousness sinks deeper and deeper into a black, swamp-like abyss. Her breasts are toyed with, her nipples are sucked on, and a weight pushes itself between her legs. But it all seems to be happening far away. I won't kill you. Though her mind is now barely functioning, Yo hears a voice whispering to her inside her head. It's the voice of a young girl, sweet and sinister, with the cruel innocence of a child gleefully plucking the wings off of butterflies. Instead, I'll let you share in our happiness. Rejoice, Yo. We'll love you to death. The soft voice is a stark contrast to the unyielding strength that drives irresistibly into Yo's core. The pain is sharp and savage, greater than anything she has ever felt before. It should be unbearable, but there is no longer enough left of Yo's mind to even recognize it as pain. Oh. While she stares blankly at the thing slithering deeper and deeper into her body, an idle thought floats through her fading consciousness. I still haven't been kissed, have I? Wow. That was intense. I was wondering if I should say that was intense or wow, grad school and no first kiss. But yeah, that was a bit of an unexpected scene. In fact, I didn't even quite remember it going that way, but I feel like that's a good place to call episode 5, just as we jump back to Fuminori and Koji in the car. So next time we'll see what happens when they arrive at Ogai's retreat. Maybe we'll find out what happened to Yo, and plenty more to come. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Hope you guys are more fascinated than revulsed, and we'll keep watching it because of that, and catch you next time.